Hi, my name is Kate Gaertner, and I am the CEO and founder of TripleWin Advisory, which is an insight consultancy on corporate sustainability. So I am teasing up a new blog this week, and it is on how climate change impacts us, individuals. And it's from an upcoming book I'm going to be publishing on climate change and personal sustainability. So, we've clearly heard about climate change, and we often hear about it in global terms, so global climate change, and the impacts are global. So often we understand that action is being taken at much higher levels than our everyday life that affect us and our household, right? So it's being discussed by scientists and heads of state. It's often involving intergovernmental organizations or PACs. Specifically, the latest is the Paris Climate Accord of 2015. Countries and nation states get involved, and probably the impact area, the scale that we probably hear about most and affects us most directly is at the municipal level, right? So at the town and city level, they're either they could be promoting tax rebates or incentives to install solar or wind power for your home, or they demand that certain types of plastic be recycled, or compost be completed at the household level, right? But there's much that we can do at the individual level. So what we can do ourselves and within our households, and should, as it relates to climate change. So this week's blog talks about how individuals and communities within the United States of America are likely to be impacted by climate change. And we often, again, hear about how there's going to be rising sea levels, right? So there's going to be intrusion of salt water, that there's going to be flooding with storm events, so that really the coasts of the United States will be affected in the cities that reside on those coasts, as well as residents of islands such as Hawaii or Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, or Guam, right? But the reality is climate change is not just going to impact island communities and coastal communities alone. Right? So there's what we don't really absorb and fully digest is that the impacts of climate change are going to be varying and different, but they're going to be across the United States. Right? So we're going to have impacts with people who live in the plains and the Rockies, and definitely within sort of the middle landlocked regions of the country. So that's a fact. So the blog goes into some detail and some examples of industries that are going to be affected. And they're critical, valuable industries such as cattle ranching, fisheries, as well as agriculture or farming. And how those are likely going to be impacted by climate change, and how sort of there's broader repercussions of those impacted industries on the whole of the residents in the United States. So if I were to say, hey, let's, the biggest takeaway here from this blog and this discussion around climate change and its impacts on individuals is to consider or think about climate change as an equal opportunity impactor. Meaning that very few, if any, people are gonna walk away from climate change from today forward without being impacted, or very few people are going to walk away unscathed from climate change. And that goes back to what I just said, which is it's an equal opportunity impactor. There might be varying degrees of impact, but everyone is going to be impacted some way, shape, or form. And so there's real value in absorbing and internalizing that climate change is not only a intergovernmental problem, a country problem, a municipal problem, but it's also our problem. And when there's a lot of different ways that we can go about creating positive change to mitigate climate change. Read the blog, let me know your thoughts, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.